Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Show. I'm Steve Moriarty, your host. And with me tonight are my two sons, Jeffrey, who's our chat moderator. Hello, Jeff.
How are we doing? Hopefully, thank you for joining us tonight. Got people from all over. I'm looking. If you haven't signed into YouTube right now, make sure to do, because we got a lively chat going. We got Eileen's back. Hey, Eileen. We got Sean from Seattle. Steven's checking the comms. We got Janice in Alabama. We got Corey in Alabama. We got Steven in Tennessee. We got Ruby right in Schaumburg. Ruby, I live right in Naperville, so close to you. Dusty from Florida. Brenda from Iowa. Janice from North Carolina. Tracy from Wisconsin. Salvage Lee is echoing. Hopefully you can hear us now. Hey, Erica. So, hey, if you join in there, show us where you're from. Thank you for joining.
And also with us is Michael, who's in charge of this production.
Man, I didn't know whether I was going to get an introduction this time.
Yeah, I kind of skipped over. Well, you've been so pushy tonight with it. Yeah, he has been very, very pushy, just giving us instructions. And
yes, you guys are just kind of chatting in the background. I got to make sure we got to get this show going for all the folks here that Jeffrey said that, there's a wide viewership from all over. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We are really excited for this show. And this one will be our last More Gems show of the year. So, yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stones that we've cut here in our shop. Michael's cut some, and I've been cutting all month. So most of the stones you're going to see tonight were cut here. So,
excellent.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. See, somebody's from the Philippines.
Nice. Roland's probably our furthest. We got a guy from New Jersey, but he's at Disney World right now watching. Thank you, Scott.
That's awesome.
We got Stacia from West Virginia as well. The Gem Nomads are here. So Peggy from Kansas City. So yeah, people join into that chat. Make sure log in, and you should be able to. You can ask questions all night and that kind of thing in the chat. So we're here moderating it. So definitely join us there.
Yep, and if you don't have much to say, but you want to show some love, just leave a gem emoji in the chat. We like to see those. It's always exciting.
Hit that thumbs up for us. That helps us too.
Yeah. And Jeff, you want to tell them what's kind of a little bit different about tonight? Something for you guys.
Yes. So we've done this once before. We wanted to do it again because they're so popular. So we got a lot of people that watch the show every week. Or every month, sorry. Eileen, for example, is here. Philip is here. Hey, Phil. But today we're going to be doing a giveaway. And this is for a pair of blue zircon, which Mike's probably going to display right there. Yes, so we're going to give it away to some lucky person. And it's really easy to, we're not going to ask you questions. We're not going to give you a test. All you got to do is if you go to MoreGems.com, which MoreGems.com, you can go in the navigation bar and there's a giveaway button. You click that. You just enter your email address, hit submit, and you'll be signed up to win these two blue zircon. Michael also made it easy to enter if you're watching with your family from Disneyland. You can scan that little QR code right there with your phone, and that'll take you right to the sign up as well, where you can enter for a chance to win. We're going to be picking the winner to give everybody a chance throughout the show. We're going to be picking the winner on Friday. We're going to be emailing the winner, so make sure you enter the correct email address.
And Jeff, so for the people that are out of the country, are they eligible, or do they need to pay for shipping if they win, or how does that work?
Yeah, that's going to be the problem. Okay. I think this is going to be for U.S. only. I mean, we want to offer the option if they pay for shipping. Problem is shipping costs and customs are a lot, so that's why we normally do these things just USA only. Sorry, Philippines person, but we'll stick this in just the USA. We'll work on that maybe next time to do some other kind of option, but USA only tonight.
And these are really a beautiful pair of blue zircons for their small size. I mean, they're just over a carat each, but remarkably brilliant. Such a deep, deep color. These come from Cambodia, and this is the top quality material that they provide. Make great earrings, or you could do a ring and a pendant. You know, it's just a couple of really beautiful stones. And blue zircon is one of our best sellers of all the stones we do.
All right. Hopefully my echo is going away.
We need to discuss payments and stuff.
Yeah. So hopefully, again, I know some of you commented that I have an echo. Hopefully it's getting better. So tonight we're going to be displaying a lot of different gems on the show. And for the first time viewers, you'll be able to purchase those gems. All the prices here, they're going to be 15% off with coupon code STONES. So all you got to do is go to MoreGems.com, click on that main banner or image on the homepage. That's going to take you to the list of gemstones that we have tonight. You can purchase any of them, and you just, at checkout, enter the coupon code STONES for 15% off. Now, all these things are one of a kind. Once it's gone, it's gone. We don't have doubles of them. So if you do like something, make sure to purchase it. We do have 30-day returns, and I think it's extended for Christmas through the holidays. But we offer credit card payments. You can do PayPal, and we also offer financing through a firm. So there's many options for you to purchase these stones. But again, I stress, if you do like it, get it up as soon as possible. Buy early. All the stones are going to be listed on that page shortly. But people buy early, and then you may lose out. So definitely get in there.
And hold on, we'll get a second, guys. So right now, I'm going to try and figure this microphone situation out. I don't exactly know why we're getting so much echo. I had to turn off Steve's mic. Let me know if it continues. It does look like, Steve's mic is kind of causing that echo. Do you hear it with mine as well? If so, I'll try and manage that, and I'll see if I can't figure that out. And let me know if Steve's microphone sounds all right as well.
Was this a directional mic?
Yeah, I've got that all sorted
Okay.
out. Something else
All
could
right.
be going on.
Okay, and just a little explanation of the prices you'll see on the site. You'll see an appraised price, and below that is the price we normally offer things on the internet. And then tonight there'll be 15% off with the coupon code STONES. The appraised price is, we figure that directly from the Gem Guide, which is a guide used by appraisers in the business, where they go to all the different trade shows and develop this guide and give us a wholesale pricing for gems and a suggested markup. So that's where the appraised price come from, and it's direct from this Gem Guide, as it says, a market-driven, independent pricing guide. So that's where the appraised price comes from. All right, first stone up. This is a bicolor tourmaline. This was the last stone I finished, actually. We lost the picture.
See that you guys are chatting away, and you don't let me get set up here.
Do I need to shut it down and off, on and off?
Yeah, go ahead and turn it off.
Always some issues.
And Colleen, I believe you have to be in the gem trade to get the guide, correct?
Yes.
Jeff, you got to turn yourself on.
All right. And Colleen was asking about the gem guide. You do have to be part of the trade to get that guide. So that's actually the only way to get that. But that's what we use on the show.
Okay, you want to see if that's working there, Mike?
It won't be yet.
It won't be it. Okay. Okay. So this is a 4.01 carat and just a very, very clean stone. It does have a couple of little things in the corners, but, so often bicolors are pretty heavily included, particularly at the tips. But this one's quite clean. I cut this a little different cut I've been doing regularly. This could have been cut as a straight emerald cut, but I just like the way that the action works when I put a few extra facets in the, rather than just one long facet. There's 3 facets all the way down the length of it. It just produces a nicer brilliance and just something I prefer to do with things that could be emerald cuts, but just works to be a more brilliant stone. This stone comes from the Congo. Congo has been producing tourmaline for the last probably 7-8 years, maybe 10 years, but now production's very, very low. I don't know what the future of Congo is, whether there is a future as far as production of tourmaline from the Congo. They've been producing light pinks, light greens, a lot of lighter colors, which has made them like this. There's no treatment where a high percentage of tourmalines are treated just to lighten their colors. But these come out relatively light in color, don't require the heat treatment to lighten the color. So nice stone. Praises for $2,050. $1,090 is our price online, and with the 15% off, it's $927 or $231 a carat.
See, that's what I'm understood.
Yeah, there we go. So you can kind of see the action that cut gets, and I've been cutting this probably for the last year, and I find it's pleasing to me. And they've sold, so it's pleasing to everybody, it seems. Just a lot more action. All right. And our next stone up, this is one of those rare tanzanites. This is kind of like Mermaid Combat, but the reverse. There's a lot more green to it, whereas those stones that have been popular, the Combat colors, what's the other names? Mermaid, it's one other they use, Peacock. They're basically a blue body color with the green highlights, where this is a more green body color with blue highlight. This material came out, how long has it been? 2 years ago?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it could have been.
Well, it was before probably 2 years ago. Very, very short period of time, because by the time we got to Kenya last year, they said there was no production. We saw a lot of material in Hong Kong, but ugly green colors. I mean, just nothing exciting, because all that material is sold out real quick, and, with no production, it was just not going to last. So this is a 2.97 carat. We don't have an appraised price on this because the Gem Guide doesn't go into these really rare stones. So our regular price online is $1,950, and with the 15% off, it's $1,658 or $558 a carat. It's just a rare color. We've had several, and I've got more rough because I bought a nice size parcel. But few will come this big and, this bright and nice mix of color. I hope there's many more, but this is about the best I can hope for from this material. Again, a similar cut to what the last one was. This is another one that could have been a straight emerald cut, but you just don't get that action that this cut gives you. Just really pretty stone. And these are natural. There's no treatment to these. You can treat them, and they actually can come out a pretty color. They usually get more blue and lighter blue, which I've done a few that weren't as pretty as this, and they just became an interesting blue color. But in this case, the value's in the color that you see being natural and just a very, very attractive mix of blue and green. Fancy tanzanite.
So somebody asked, what would the color be if we heated it? So some of the greens in the past, apparently I've heard, don't heat, but these ones heat to a really interesting blue color, something that is not really typical in your what you're used to in tanzanite. The blue is I don't know,
just a light
or almost
gray blue,
like
maybe?
denim kind of. It's interesting and unique too, but the green is in this one is too pretty to heat.
Yeah. The next, if I cut another one and it's just not a pretty color, we'll heat it because we know that it does come out to an attractive, saleable color also.
If I could cut in real quick. I did notice that some people signing up for the contest are kind of filling out a contact form and sending it to us. What you want to do is you can go to MoreGems.com, and in the menu, if you're on a mobile device, you hit that little hamburger menu, there's a link that says giveaway. Click on that link and there's going to be a sign-up form right there. That's where you enter in your email address, submit, and then you'll be entered into win that pair of blue zircons. Thanks.
All right, this next stone up is anthill garnet. It comes from Arizona. And if you see this in an incandescent light, it is the finest red color I've seen in any gem. It's not this orangey red that you see here. Michael, I'm just seeing Jeffrey. But it really is a remarkable red. I mean, it's a color that you would like to see ruby be, and never is. There's just an incredible red color. They are deep in color, so in some lights they're a little on the dark side, but the red is just spectacular. I don't know if we change this setting, whether we'd. Can you get it to S maybe, or?
I can.
Oh.
No, I can't.
Okay, but anyway, it.
Well,
The red is truly remarkable.
Did I change it any?
A little purpley red. I don't know. You're ever going to get red.
Yeah.
Yeah, red's a tough color to produce. But it's Arizona pyrope. It's typically a pure pyrope. I'm pretty sure that's what I've always been told. I don't know how pure it is, but it is, to my knowledge, it is pure pyrope, and the red is just extraordinary. Michael, that picture, when it was small, it looked better up in the corner.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Can you put it in the corner, not on the main screen? Yeah, it's better, but anyway, the color is incredible. The only downside of this material, it's very dark, and in some lights it's on the dark side, but you get it in ideal lighting, and it is truly an incredible gem. So this is no appraised value on this either. They do pyropes, but they do them at a very low price because most pyrope is more this color that you're seeing on the screen, not that extraordinary red that you get from the anthill garnet. And it's called anthill, of course, because the ants' hills are just red. where this material comes from. It's kind of an indicator that, this is where you want to look for this garnet, because the anthills are red because they're bringing up the little tiny ones, and it rather than bringing up sand, they're bringing up pyrope garnet. So it's $490, and with the 15% off, it's $417 or $244 a carat. Yep. Was that a sale? I assume that's what that was.
So,
You gotta turn your mic on.
all right. All right, so Phil's starting off the show right. He picked up, I warn people that people, look at stones before we show them. Phil picked up a Berrien-style emerald cut fancy tanzanite, an antique cushion spinel, and a Berrien-style emerald cut spinel. So some amazing stones Phil's picked up.
Very nice. Thanks, Phil.
Yeah,
That's
thanks,
pretty
Phil.
sweet.
Yeah, what was it? The peach color?
Yeah, one was peach, one was like a purple.
Yeah, that's a nice stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, not quite Pod Parasha, but close. Yeah.
And for all the new people watching, a lot of them may say, okay, I'm going to buy a stone, then I got to do something with it. So especially, what options do they have after they purchase stone?
Well, you can, of course, just get the stone and take a look at it, make sure you love it. Or if you know that's what you're really after and you want to make it into something, just give us an idea of what you're after. My nephew, Christopher Michael is what he goes by. Chris will create a design in CAD. We do have two designers, so Chris and Johnny are our two designers, and one of them will create a design for you in CAD, and you will send you the design. Just if there's modifications you want to make to it, just let us know, and we'll do that. And, you can even see the design in a wax model if you need that to physically see more. So just give us an idea, and we'll do our best to create what you're after. No obligation, once for us to create a design, you're not obligated to anything on the whole process. All right, what's next there, Mike? All right. Welcome to our Blue Light Special, and tonight we're featuring, we actually have 3 platinum rings. This is the first of the 3. They're all basically the same styling, just a little bit of differences between them. There's an oval, and 2 rounds. One's a 6-prong and one's this 4-prong. So it's just a nice, simple design, and it's in platinum. Platinum is such a great metal because it just holds up forever. Platinum is something that has a much longer lifespan than any other metal. It doesn't wear out easily, and it just is a naturally white metal. So there's a lot of positives to platinum, other than, platinum's always more expensive than what gold is. Although right now it's probably as good a price as it's ever been relative to gold, because gold now is pushing $3,000 an ounce, or $2,750 an ounce, which is as high as gold has ever been. Platinum's only at $1,000, but the things that make platinum more expensive are it weighs 1.6 times as much as gold. And it also is much purer. So these rings are 95% platinum, and gold is generally 58% of it is gold. So the price on this ring, $1,790 is our price online. And with the Blue Light Special, we're taking 40% off of that. which brings it down to 1,074. It's a 1.92 carat, very, very nice tanzanite, high clarity, measures 7 millimeter, so just under 2 carats. So it's really a beautiful ring for the money. It's the ultimate metal and, just the ultimate stone, tanzanite.
And I just want to pop in here real quick. Stephen, he was asking how to shop these stones and these blue light specials. So if you just if you're new, visit us at MoreGems.com. There's a big green banner at the top of the screen that you can click. It'll take you to show all of the pieces that we're showing tonight. Or there's a main banner right on the front of the webpage. You can click that image, and that'll take you there as well. And just be sure to use the coupon codes, either Blue40 if you're interested in one of these platinum rings, or the coupon code STONES for any of the loose stones that you see tonight.
Cool. So that's our first blue light special for the evening. And our next stone is a Heliodor. Heliodor is a golden beryl related to aquas, emeralds, morganites, all the same gem. This is a really nice size stone. And the big thing about this stone is its natural color. Most of the Heliodors that are produced are irradiated to produce their colors, but these came out of the ground natural, which increases their value significantly. I'll show you. Here's a crystal. Really a great crystal that I debate whether to cut it, but beautiful color. I mean, it would produce color much like this pear shape we're showing. But the difference is this stone was irradiated. It probably started out as a light color aqua. They irradiate it and it turns it to this golden color. It's no real negative other than, the price of this material is significantly cheaper, probably a third of what natural material is. So that's the treated, and this is the natural. Heliodor is a good tough stone. This particular stone comes from Brazil, weighs 10.16 carat. We have some really nice smaller stones in the carat size in emerald cuts if you want something smaller, but it's much tougher to get these larger stones in this 10 carat size. Just nice clean stone, bright, well cut. This is one of the few stones in the show that I didn't cut, but it is really nicely cut. It's a Portuguese pavilion and a standard round or standard brilliant crown. So beautiful gem. Praise price on this one, $5,785. Our price online is $39.20, and with the 15% off, it's $33.32 or $328 a carat. Again, if this were irradiated, the price probably about half of what this is. Beautiful gem.
Question, Steve, from Phil. So how do you identify whether the stones in general or this Heliodor has been treated or not?
I can't, and that's a good question whether the labs can. Particular sources, like if this, trying to think what most common sources for irradiated. This is, it's somewhat, well, it definitely becomes a trust business. You're dealing with people that are cutting the stones, and, the cutters always know, what's, I say they always know, but they don't always know either. But, but if you are the miner, as is the case with these people, and the cutters, you trust what they say, and we know there are many, many heliodors that come out of the ground natural. And, these people, that's all they cut is barrels. So we trust that they are honest with their representation of the material. And, one indication, although it's not the right indication, but, you have to pay more for it. But it is a trust thing. With the radiation, it's difficult to ID, just like blue topaz. Can you ID that it's treated? No, but that these deep, exceptional colors, they're all irradiated to produce that color. Again, there's naturals in that material too, but you can't identify it. I've cut quite a few naturals, but in that case, usually the naturals are much lighter in color. Not that that's a total giveaway, but in this business, it becomes a trust thing with knowing who you're dealing with. And in the case of this, it is totally on trust. Yeah, I don't think GIA could identify whether it's been treated or not. I don't know that to be a fact. They've come a long way with their testing. The equipment has become much more. What's the word I want? It's become better.
More sophisticated.
More sophisticated. Yep. Yes. But I still think in this case they're not going to tell you whether it's irradiated or not.
Okay.
So.
Well, on that, we got some sales coming in. So Eileen picked up the stepped antique cushion cut fancy tanzanite, 2.97 carat. It was the greenish one. I think that's from earlier.
Oh yeah. Cool. All right, thanks,
that was a
Eileen.
nice stone.
Yeah, it's a good one. You're gonna love it. Yeah, it's cool.
And then Amber picked up that intense oval cut pyrope garnet that we talked about earlier.
Oh, cool.
That's a nice one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that color shines on that.
Yeah, I would. We've talked about going to. These come from the Navajo Reservation in Arizona, and we've talked about it when we go out to Tucson, going up there and seeing what we can not find, because I don't think you can. I suppose if you get permission, you might be able to mine, but you could deal with the Indians up there and see what we can come up with. It just doesn't come big. I mean, this is a relatively big stone. You start getting over 2 carat, and the whole issue is the depth of color. The bigger they are, the darker they get, and getting a 3 carat that is not overly dark is almost impossible. That's kind of the limit of size from what I've seen that will produce a great color. But when you get a chance, if you get just a regular incandescent bulb, the red is just amazing, and I would like to cut more of these. It's not a real profitable stone to spend 3 hours cutting a stone that's $490, because there is cost of the rough too, but it's just exciting to see the stones when they're finished. Thank you. All right, what's next? All right. This is a hidden gem.
Hidden gem. We didn't even talk about the hidden gems for all the new people out there, have we? All right, all the newbies to watching us, all the veterans, you know the deal here. So we've got a few hidden gems that are out there. We keep these hidden because we know people go ahead with time and purchase stones we haven't even talked about yet. So these hidden gems we don't release till we're ready to release them. So the hidden gems are 25% off. So if you like one of these hidden gems, you can purchase it on the website at 25% off with coupon code RARE25. And you may be asking, well, where is it? It's no longer hidden. So if you go to that page with all the gemstones on it on MoreGems.com, if you refresh that page, this new oval cut spessartite garnet will be there, and you can purchase it at 25% off.
All right. So this is a stone that we talked about with a lot of people in Hong Kong and in Thailand because the price of spessartite garnet had gone up so much, and the issue was the Chinese people were just so into this particular gem that they just bought everything that was in the market, and it forced the prices up significantly. But it just went along with a lot of the garnets, which have gone up significantly, mainly because they're amazing gems, they're rare, and they probably deserve to be more valued. So this particular stone weighed 418, a appraised value of $7,525. 4180 is our price online, and with the 25% off, it is 3332. Nope, that's the wrong one. 3135, $750 a carat. This is a stone I bought cut from an old customer that she died, and the family sold back some stones to us, and otherwise I wouldn't have this one either, because what we saw in Asia were wholesale prices, trying to buy it at this, you were lucky. So just a very, very difficult stone to find right now, and pretty extraordinary. I mean, the color is just great. The brilliance is remarkable. So this is stone. I just recut the pavilion on it because, it's the only reason I still had this stone was because it was cut so shallow that it had no brilliance in the pavilion. They cut it in a way that I was able to just put a fully brilliant style on the back, and it became fully brilliant, and I didn't have to touch the crown because the crown's really well cut. Yeah, it's a little better.
And I'm just going to pop in to remind everybody, we do have a giveaway going on tonight. So if you want to enter, it's for a pair of blue zircons from Cambodia. You just need to either scan the QR code right there or head on over to More Gems. There is a link in the navigation, and you can sign up there.
Did you switch that color back?
What's that?
You were playing with the color before.
Yeah, what did you want to... I did.
It's back on A?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The color that you see on the website is much more accurate. I mean, just really orange. I mean, this is a remarkably orange color. That's what you're going to get. So just a beautiful color. And just a little example. Here's kind of the color range for spessartite garnet. Whoops, the camera's backwards. You can kind of see the orange color in that. The one on the left is Tanzanian. They call it Fanta orange. Spessartite garnets. And here's a piece of Arizona pyrope. Whoop. Yeah. There you go. And I was going to show a bicolor tourmaline to go with the first stone.
This will be a great candidate for the new Ultratech fantasy machine that you received. I don't know if you want to mention that and show that, because it's a little bit more of a shallow piece. I know we've had
That's
that
true.
one for a little while.
Yeah. So that's, the Ultratech fantasy machine that we just got, and I will start cutting on it next week. See if I can learn how to use that machine, because fantasy cutting is really unique and produces something totally different. And as Michael mentioned, this is a shallow piece of rough, and fantasy machines have the capability of producing brilliance in a shallow piece of rough that maybe you couldn't do a faceted gem, or you couldn't get a great yield out of it.
You want to show them the machine? You're like right in front of it.
Yep. So back this is the fantasy machine. Looks brand new because I haven't touched it yet, but we will be getting to that, and maybe by the next show in January we'll have some fantasy cuts to display. It's a difficult learning curve, I think, for it. We'll see. I haven't done it, so I'll let you know next show just how we're doing. So those go in coordination with the Ultratech V5 over here. You use the mast from it on this machine to produce your cuts. So these are, if you're interested in really getting into cutting, these are two machines that will, when you work at it and, in a short period of time, you can become quite proficient at producing cuts like we're cutting here. The machines are remarkable from the standpoint that they with a little technique, these machines will help you produce beautiful stones just like you're seeing tonight. All right, back to the stones. Next up is blue zircon. Yes, it is. So this is a Malawi blue zircon.
I'm going to hop in real quick. Colleen was asking whether we're going to have another show before Christmas. We have one more show, but it is going to be our virtual Christmas open house. So what that is, it's a jewelry show. There may be a few gems mixed in, but it'll be mainly focused around our jewelry. We'll be running some specials that night, whatever's kind of going on. So that'll be with Alice and Steve. So if you've seen the Alice and Gemland shows that we've done in the past, it's a similar setup to that, to where we'll be focusing mainly on our made-up jewelry. But all of the made-up jewelry is around our colored stones like you see tonight. It's just finished pieces.
All right. All right, this is zircon I cut it comes from Malawi. And this for Malawi is a pretty good sized stone. They don't generally produce as big a material as you see coming out of Cambodia. They occasionally produce some large stones, and I hope to cut a large one sometime soon. I've been meaning to call a friend that's been dealing with this material and see if I can get something will cut something impressive. I'd like to cut a 20 karat blue zircon, which I never have. I've cut other colors of zircons and big stones, but nothing in blues, probably bigger than 7 or 8 carats. But this is a round brilliant. It's actually a step cut, I think fully step cut round. Just produces such extraordinary brilliance. Blue zircon, high refractive index, which gives you that great brilliance. You'll see some dispersion coming out of zircons typically. But it's a beautiful color. We have some material from Cambodia that's deeper color, but, is it prettier? Not necessarily. This is just a nice, beautiful color. Secondary green to it. Probably, it's mostly blue, but there is a slight bit of green to it. So this one weighs 3.80 carats, price value of $2,110. Our price online is $890, and the 15% off takes this stone to $759 or $199 a carat. It's really a beautiful, beautiful gem. Aquas and blue topaz, they never produce the kind of brilliance that you see in blue zircon. And that little bit of green just makes them a little different. And next up,
Well, let's talk about the giveaway again.
all right. So tonight we're giving away these 2 blue zircons. Seems we were just talking about blue zircon. Cambodia produces extraordinary colors, and these are the finest of the colors from Cambodia. This little pair is just remarkably beautiful. Make a great pair of earrings, or pendant and ring. You know, they're big enough. You know, this is they're like a 1 carat diamond size is comparable to it. So not small stones, but, you know, small enough to make a nice pair of earrings, but big enough to show. So, you want to tell them again how to get involved?
Oh, go ahead, Jeff.
Hey. Yeah. So it's definitely easy to enter. All you got to do is go to MoreGems.com. And if you click on the little hamburger menu, if you're on your mobile or up in the main navigation on desktop, it says giveaway. Click on that, and then all you have to do is enter your email address to be entered. We will be choosing a winner on Friday, and they will be emailed. So make sure you put the correct email address. If you're watching on TV with the family, you can click this QR code right there, and that'll take you to the giveaway page. Otherwise, if you're like a fast typer, you can do MoreGems.com/contest, and that'll take you to the page too. So easy peasy. And there's only, I think, about 65 people that entered so far. So chances
Your odds are good. Yeah.
So get in
It's
there.
not like the lottery. It's
Yeah.
pretty good odds. So, and a great pair. I mean, they don't get more beautiful than these stones for sure. So welcome, More Gem shoppers, to the Blue Light Special in our jewelry department. Tonight we're featuring this platinum tanzanite ring. It's a 1.40 carat tanzanite. There's, if you look underneath, there's these little hidden diamonds set in each prong. Just a nice little addition to the look of this piece. But the important thing is a beautiful tanzanite. Just intense color, beautifully cut, nice clean gem, and it's set in platinum. So the our price online on this piece is $1,590. So during this Blue Light Special, we're taking 40% off of this piece, and this particular one is the 140. So with the 15 off, it's $954. Beautiful tanzanite in platinum.
Yeah, would be a great piece for, if you're looking for a holiday gift for somebody. This is, they are really nice rings. I saw them, I was photographing them, and just beautiful pieces. Simple, but something that you can wear often. You don't have to dress up or be dressing up to wear these. I think they're just anytime wear, and we can size it to just about any size you need. If you're going up a lot, it may be an issue, but typically 1 to 2 sizes, not a problem.
And then for people that aren't familiar with tanzanite, it's got to be it is our most popular stone, I would say, for a few years now.
Yeah. I don't know if it's half our business, but it's close. I think with these shows, maybe it's gone down a little bit. We've promoted all the other stones, but for a long time, it was half our entire business was tanzanite. And, it's because we travel to Tanzania to get goods and, cut a lot of it. And so we just become well known for our tanzanites and deep colors like you see in this ring. That's just a beautiful color tanzanite. So, this is extraordinary tanzanite set in the prestige metal platinum. People know that platinum is of high value, and, so it's always been, the metal that people would like to do their white in, but it's just a more expensive metal typically.
And just wanted to shout out to Grenko Z. He says he's just gotten into faceting and he's been watching your YouTube videos and has learned a lot. So he thanks you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Lastly, we got some sales here. I'm gonna get in here. So Karen picked up, I don't think we've talked about this stone yet, but she picked up an emerald cut tanzanite 1.40 carat tonight. So.
Yeah, that one actually, Michael didn't make the show cut because he didn't know I cut it. It's my fault because I told him, just pick out the stones, and so he didn't exactly know the ones I cut. And this one I cut, because typically I don't cut stones this size, but this came from a parcel of goods that we bought in, did we get it in Hong Kong or
Yeah, we got
Tanzania?
it in Hong Kong. I knew you cut those stones, but yeah, that size typically you kind of pass on those, and I wanted to give a good variety to the show.
Yeah.
So,
but beautifully cut. It's you don't typically see tanzanites in this size cut like this because in India where they cut most of it, they look at these smaller stones, with. They don't think they have enough value to put the time and effort into cutting it correctly. But we got lucky and bought a parcel of 80 stones in Tanzania, and I was very, very pleased with how they heated. I was actually surprised because they just didn't look like they were going to have such a great color. But, the 3 stones that I cut were surprising for the color that they have. And I'll show you the other 2 that haven't sold yet that they're listed on the show, but they aren't part of this show. So this is a shield cut. And that one's a carat 47. And then there's a square step cut. But the colors are just really beautiful. So I'm encouraged, because I've got another 77 stones to cut. That may take a while, but, these cut fairly quickly. I can probably do these stones. They probably take me still 2 hours, but I'm thrilled with how the colors came out. So thanks.
One last. So, sold that Spessartite garnet, which I've
that was considered to be mine. I was planning on making a ring just because I gave Jeff one, I gave
you bring yours,
Michael
Mike?
one.
I always forget it. I live far away, so I forget these things. I love that ring, but I did not.
So they got the 2 stones that were cut correctly from the 3 I bought. And the 3rd one I thought for myself, but I guess I don't want us to all be.
Well,
Be a family ring, I guess.
Well, it went to Phil. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. Yeah.
So.
No, this would be a great way to do it, Phil. Their rings are great. And, as I mentioned before, when we went to the shows and I had this big tanzanite ring on that was $15,000 ring and they had their rings on and mine got no attention and there's just everybody's just talking about their rings. So it's a good stone. Yeah. So
if there's any guys out there that want rings, men's rings, that design in general, that Mike's got on right now, that I have as well, is just really cool masculine design, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, we need to make some more men's rings. It's one area in this business that is left out, and I know there's a lot of business to be had, and one of these days we'll get around to putting a lot more men's rings together. All right, what's next? Here's a stone that Michael cut. How long does it take you to get to, Michael?
I don't know when I started this. Maybe July, and I got the the pavilion cut and polished except for maybe a row, and then fell off the dop.
Which is difficult to deal with.
Yeah, and I just didn't get back to it. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff going on here. I'm kind of running around all over the place, and I didn't get back to it. But then I don't know, last week or 2 weeks ago, I got to this, and I actually cut 2 other stones too. So it was just kind of, it's getting into the swing of things. But this one turned out, I am really, really pleased with this one.
It's truly amazing.
Yeah.
The colors on this stone are just, we talk about Rwanda as being the finest source in the world, but a stone like this vies with Rwanda. And Rwanda we're very familiar with. Rwanda was a source that came out in 2016, I think.
2015, and
it lasted 6 months. Yeah, the source lasted 6 months. Fortunately, we bought some nice stones. I bought a parcel, and we actually made the cover of the Journal of Gemology, which is from Britain. And those are all our stones and mounted goods. And actually, that piece of rough is still, this is what's left of it. But that piece of rough that was on the front cover, this is the last bit of it. I've been cutting it up, and, because it is fairly dark material. So you got to cut some smaller stones out of it, but it was a big, remarkably clean piece. And you can see how beautiful the color is in this material. Rwanda is considered to be the finest that ever came out of the ground. Whether that's true, because you look at this material, this is what's coming out of Bahia, Brazil right now. And I tell you, when you look at the stone like the one Michael just cut, it's hard to say that Rwanda is really more beautiful. I would put this up against most of the Rwandan material. Maybe the finest piece ever cut out of Rwanda, which we cut a few, may have been better, but that's debatable. This has really the look of Rwanda and just a remarkably beautiful amethyst. And Mike did a great job. Michael generally, because he's new at it and he's pretty anal, his cutting quality is every bit as good as mine. And many times he does better because he spends a lot of time cutting this. I occasionally take a shortcut, but, it's...
I thought this was yours at first.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got the genes for it.
And just, and if you want to see what this looked like beforehand, this is one of the few things we're starting to do on the website more often. If you go to MoreGems.com, there is a video now on the product page that Michael kind of shows what the rough looked like beforehand and then the after of his cutting. So take a look at it. Let us know what you think about it too. I just want to know if it's something you'd like to see on more of these stones. If it's, if it kind of pulls you, gets you, it's kind of interesting anyway, to see what it looks like beforehand. But you can take a look at, what Michael was working with before and what the finished product was. So that's right on MoreGems.com, right on that product page.
Yeah, it's a great stone. Yeah, good job, Mike.
Thanks.
And up next is the one I cut, and this is Rwandan. And I mean, either one of them, you could say they're from Bahia, Brazil, or Rwanda, and who would really know?
The size of them too, because these are somewhat big.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we haven't been doing that. Where's our hand?
Yeah.
Should we get it?
Well, on the website, there's pictures with the hands. Too,
Yeah.
But you can just kind of show them.
So this is the kind of size this is. This one is 44 carats. And I think Michael's is comparable. A little bit smaller, but Yeah, so great pendant. You know, Michael's is natural color, and I did have to heat this one. Matter of fact, I think I heated it 3 times till I finally was satisfied with it because it was just overly dark. And I worried whether the big benefit of these high-end colors is that bluish purple, and they can go to reddish purple in different lights, and it's just the softness and the velvety color they have. And I was afraid with heating I might lose some of that, but fortunately it didn't at all. You know, the color just came out special. It's a really, really beautiful stone. So heated Rwanda or natural Bahia Brazil material, both great stones. Yeah, this one appraised price of $4,840, $2,420 is the price online, and with the 15% off, it is $2,057 or $46 a carat. I don't think I went through that with yours, did I? And Michael's the same, about $47 a carat, and that stone with the 15 off was $1,505. Both special stones. I mean, you don't find amethyst better quality than either of these stones.
Quick question.
Yes.
Kali wanted to know, how do you know if it's from Brazil or Rwanda?
Well, right now, when we bought this material, we bought 2 kilos of it. We spent 5 hours looking through our supplier's material. He's somebody we've dealt with. I've dealt with him for 40 years. You know, he had how many kilos? Must have been 50 kilos or, you know, and by the time we were done, my back was just aching. And he's somebody, he doesn't care where it's from. He'd tell you where it's from. And so no question about that. Usually it's a situation where material is coming out of a particular source in quantity. And there was none before that, just like this material. There hadn't been any quality amethyst since Rwanda. And all of a sudden, this material started coming out of Bahia, Brazil. So it's no real surprise where the material's coming from. And, you know, so you just know that it's being mined right now and it's available. And so you pretty much know where the source is. You know, if by 5 kilos, you know, 10 years down the line, I could be telling people it's from Rwanda and nobody would know the difference. You know, there's no real identifying characteristic of Rwanda other than it is some of the top quality material that's available, just as this Bahia material. You know, there just has not been better come out of the ground. We go back to Siberia. When, you know, originally when I was in the business, we talked about Siberian amethyst because that previously was the finest known. And the name just got stuck with, at the time, Zambia was producing, and everybody would say, oh, it's Siberian color. So these would be Siberian color, but this one's from Rwanda, and Michael's is Siberian color from Bahia, Brazil. And they're probably better than anything that ever came out of Siberia, although I've never truly seen what that material was like. You know, we're going back 60, 70 years to get into Siberian amethyst. So I don't know if anything's produced from there now. I've never seen it. So up next, citrine, and this is really a great citrine. This is a citrine that looks like spessartite garnet. You know, if you put these next to the spessartites, there's not a whole lot of difference between the two. The big difference, of course, will be the price per carat and the size you can get these in. So this particular material, although it says Uruguay, it's from Brazil, could be from Uruguay. because both these sources, I mean, they're right on the border of Brazil, so I was told my information says this is from Brazil. It looks like material from Uruguay that's been coming out for the last 20 years or so, but
Yeah, that was my mistake when I was creating these overlays. I didn't see a locality, or the locality was actually marked Bolivia, but I knew it wasn't Bolivia,
yeah.
so I was like, it's probably Uruguay. But then we looked into it. It is Brazil, so it's correct, I believe, on the website. If not, it will be on the paperwork.
So somewhere in that area. But who cares? It's just remarkable color because, previous to the material that came out of Uruguay, it was 25 years since I had seen any of this top orange color. I saw it when I originally got into the business, and then 25 years later, I started seeing it again coming out of Uruguay. So these orange colors, for such a long period, just weren't available.
And really, we haven't seen much lately.
Yeah. Our Uruguay supplier, what did he say? He said he could supply us for the next 300 years or something. And it pretty much has disappeared from the market. So I'm not sure what that's about. But typically, the source just runs out. You think you've got 300 years of production, and then all of a sudden, whoops, it's gone. Just so typical in this business. So that's why, like the amethyst we bought, how many kilos did we buy? Three kilos. You buy it when it's there because as quick as it came, it's going to be gone. And that material out of Bahia has dropped off significantly. There's still material coming out, but it's not like it was in the original find. So this is a great citrine. Weighs 13.76 carats. Appraised price $1,100. Our price online $950. And with the 15% off, it's $808 or $59 a carat. And our next stone is...
It's a mix of both.
Yeah, the other material that we bought. Now we just bought 2 kilos of this. We just found somebody getting out of the ametrine business, and they just wanted to turn what they had. And it was material I look for constantly. Occasionally I buy one piece here, one piece there, and then she's actually sitting on 2 kilos of it. So we bought up the 2 kilos, and this is the finished product. They just cut beautifully. I mean, this particular style of cutting where the material is just perfect. I'll show you what it looks like. So you can see the separation of the zoning. Often this material is cut 50-50 split. But when you get the material like this, not the easiest to see, but you can see the triangles of the purple and the yellow. And whoop, does that help? Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can see. And I mean, this is because you can produce cuts like this that just give such a unique look. When I saw this, I was just thrilled to death. Seeing a whole kilo of material like this is just unheard of. So, great stuff. This comes from Bolivia. It is natural color, no treatments involved. It was often disputed whether they were doing some kind of irradiation to do this, or, and people I know went to the mines and they said, it's in the mine just like this. This is all natural. So just cool stuff. Just love what it produces. You know, the way these pieces are zoned, you can get a nice split of the colors. You know, I've cut some of these where the colors just kind of mixed, and it was a little more brownish red, and they were interesting. But this kind of separation of color is just so unique. You know, where do you find a gem that you just flash it around and you see purples and reddish yellows and you know, just a totally unique look. Just, I find it exciting, you know, and for fantasy cutting, I think this will be special material too. You know, in our last show, we had the one fantasy cut that actually the company that produced this, I actually bought it from them. So fantasy cutting does work real well with this material also. But I'm pretty thrilled with just doing a step cut like this and what it does to the stone. Great stone. Weighs 53.68 carats, appraised value $5,370, $2,680 is our price online, and this stone is $22.78 or $42 a carat. I mean, where do you find such a unique, beautiful gem for $42 a carat? Yeah. I've always wondered why this material was so cheap. You know, some of the split bicolors you can buy for $20, $25 a carat.
Show the size of that one. You could hold it up to the camera a little closer if you hide your face.
All right.
I'm going. Okay.
Cool rock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I'm just cutting in here. And I remember, you know, you talk about the fantasy cutting. I know you don't remember it, but when I was a kid, I still do remember. You must have carved a sailboat.
Yes.
In ametrine. I remember that piece.
Yeah.
I had
used
the
to.
way, you know, the sail.
I was just talking to a guy who was in the store and wanted to know how to cut a stone. I was talking to him about taking a stick, putting sandpaper on it. And, you know, I can remember, when you were a kid sitting in front of TV with a stick with sandpaper on it, and I cut sailboats out of it. Yeah, that's what you remember.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That had to be like 40 years. No, not that old.
Oh, yeah.
35 years ago, maybe.
Oh, no, 40-some. Well,
Let's not put my age out.
I wasn't
yeah,
even
yeah,
born
yeah.
yet.
yeah.
Those are some old sailboats, Jeffrey.
Michael wasn't even around. He doesn't know this stuff.
Yeah. So, probably 35.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you'd have been maybe 6 or 7.
I don't think my memory goes back that far.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
So
I do remember.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because it was just yesterday I was talking to the guy about that and telling him, well, this is how you do it. You put sandpaper on a stick and you just sit there and carve it away. Because
that's also when I was stopping by a place before here, I was talking to some of the guys, because we do custom jewelry as well, but you used to have to carve the jewelry, right? The wax.
Used to hand carve the wax. Yeah. Chris would hand carve the wax, and it just amazes me, you know. And you know that it's so much nicer with the computer today, because if you hand carve a wax and it doesn't cast, you got to hand carve it again, you know. And that can take. I bet he spent 2 days on some of those waxes, you know, and just amazing what he did. And amazing that you could get all the prongs in place for all those little teeny stones. You know, it blows my mind to think that people could do that. You know,
it's crazy.
You know, that was a real talent, and you know. But thank God for computer and computer-aided designs these days.
That's what we're going to be saying in 30 years. We'll be like, oh my God, Steve sat around at his gem machine cutting for this, and you didn't have AI to do it for him.
I hope not.
I just wanted to cut in because there's a lot of new people showing up throughout the show. So people that have been here, sorry, you're going to have to hear this again. But we do have a big giveaway going on tonight. The pair of the blue zircon we're giving away. See there down there. To sign up to win this, all you got to do is go to MoreGems.com. In the navigation, there is a link called giveaway. Just click on it, and then you just have to enter your email address, and you'll be entered to win this pair of blue zircons. It could be used for earrings, could be used for ring and pendant, whatever you want. We're going to be doing the drawing on Friday. If you're watching from your TV, you can hit that little QR code over there. Or you can go to MoreGems.com/contest. Also, for everybody that's new that wants to purchase these stones or see something on the show they like, you just got to go to MoreGems.com, click on the green banner at the top of the page. That'll take you to all the stones that are on the show tonight, plus a lot of others that we just don't have time to talk about. Any of those stones that you like there, you can use coupon code STONES for 15% off. We offer credit card, PayPal, and Affirm financing. And if you're enjoying the show, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe if you can, because we do a lot of cool stuff on this channel. Thank you.
Yeah, this pair of stones, I was just thinking, would make a cool pendant, a 2-stone pendant, or even a 2-stone ring. You know, you could do, there's a nice size to put 2 stones together and not make an overly big ring, but something of a little bigger size, because they're not extremely big, but, but they're a really good match. So, all right, next stone. Up. Welcome, More Gems shoppers, to our blue light special in our jewelry department. And this is the final ring of the 3 rings that we have. Platinum, this is a 6-prong with a 7mm stone, 1.66 carats. And these are very high quality tanzanites, just nicely cut, clean, and beautiful color. You know, these pieces are set in platinum, and as you can see, each prong has a little full cut diamond underneath. These are diamonds with FG color, VS clarity, so they're really top quality diamonds. This is a piece that the entire piece is the best you can use, just a really, really great piece. Nice, clean look, simple. Something that many, many people like is just a simple look to accent a nice stone. And this is really a great piece for that. So these are 40% off. This particular piece is $1,392. All right, that's the 3 blue light specials tonight. And we had a sale.
We did. So Lori picked up that really cool looking stepped round cut blue zircon, 3.8 carats.
Oh, cool.
All right, so Lori, so let us know what you want to do with it. We'll just ship it to you, but if you want us to do some kind of custom design, as Steve talked about earlier, we'd love to do some kind of pendant or ring for you, but just let us know.
Thanks, Lori.
All right, next stone. This is one I just finished this last couple days. Tourmaline, just a beautiful green color. The stone weighs 4.51 carats, comes from Nigeria. Whoop. And just a really beautiful green color. Any greener, and it'd have to be a chrome tourmaline. Because just really a great color of green. Weighs 4.51 carats. Completely clean stone. I don't know for sure whether it's been heated, but a good chance of it. Just because a lot of these greens are a little on the dark side, and you just heat them up a little bit and it tends to lighten the color. This particular stone has a appraised value of $1,800. $1,130 is our price online. And with the 15% off with the coupon code STONES, it is $961 or $213 a carat. Little different cut. I think pretty easy to make a unique looking piece out of it. Pendant, ring, tourmaline's a good durable gem. Not impervious to damage, but they are a harder stone, over 7 in hardness, which is kind of the break with what will scratch easily and what will not. Just because much of nature is 7 hardness. There's a lot of quartz out there, so a lot of the things you run into are up to that 7 hardness. So things above that are less prone to damage. And this is just above that 9 threshold. Really pretty stone, lively throughout. A lot of tourmalines are a little over dark, that they don't have full brilliance. So cool stone.
Steve,
Uh-huh.
the Goddess of Darkness 007, they want to know how long does it take to cut a stone like this? I mean, I know for me it takes quite a while, but I'm kind of a novice. But you, since you've been cutting for 40 years, what do you say?
It's this stone probably pushing 4 hours is probably where it's at.
How about that 100 carat morganite? No, it was more than that. Was it bigger than that?
It was 300.
How long did that one take?
I don't know. That was 30 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The bigger they get, the longer it takes. Yeah, like I talked about, those carat and a half tanzanites were probably under 2 hours, maybe. I really don't keep track of time a lot. And, when you're cutting, you lose track of how long things take you. But
What we should do, you ever seen those Guinness Book of World Records where they like dribble a ball for like 50 hours and they'll get like donations to keep them going?
no, we already did that once. I don't want to do it again.
We did?
Yeah, me and Larry were in the window of the store and we cut all weekend.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that again?
No. Thanks.
Be live the whole time.
What?
You could be live to the
Could
world.
be the whole, yeah, we weren't live then.
Yeah.
We were live to the people on the street, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Nice thought, Jeff. When you start cutting, you can do it. All right. Our next stone, really an amazing tanzanite. This one weighs 17.47 carats. Came out a little lighter than I'd hoped for. I ran into some issues with it, and instead of 25 carat, I only got 17 carat.
And that's lighter in weight, not lighter in color, right?
Yeah. No, the color came out great. This is a stone that has everything. Just a remarkable color, lots of red flash to it, which, if that's important to you, it really has everything. And it did, the cut came out beautifully. The brilliance is great. And this one is... So this light's showing it more purple, but it's a lot more blue. It's more blue than purple.
Is that any better?
What'd you switch to?
Landscape.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it got bluer. Yeah, the settings on the camera make a big difference in how they look. In person, it's even... Oh, yeah. In this light, I have daylight behind me, and it's just blue, blue, blue. But whatever light you're in, it's a beautiful color. And you can see those purpley flashes are actually red in person is what they show up as. But very, very brilliant stone. I'm thrilled with how the cut came out. Not thrilled with the yield, but hey, it happens. Just the shape is right. You know, the squarer the shape, the more brilliant that you're going to get out of it. Just like rounds and trillions can be the most brilliant. Squares, you know, things that are squarish like this stone will be more brilliant. So this is just a very, very brilliant stone. 17.47 carats, appraised value of $23,580. Our price online, $12,230. The price with 15 off is $10,396 or $595 a carat.
Show them how big a 17 karat tanzanite looks.
Nice size. Really nice stone. And I do have, I'll show you got quite a few pieces of rough, and here's the biggest. I haven't cut one this big for a long time. Because this one, I don't know, I don't remember what this one weighs. 212 carats. You know, it still has nice crystal shape, although the faces on this one are a bit etched.
Where's your flashlight?
Yeah. You can see the color and all the faces on it, including the tip. I say it's pretty heavily etched, but decent crystal. So that should, I'm projecting maybe a 90 carat out of it. We'll see when I get to that. But I bought quite a few pieces of rough in Hong Kong and should cut 10 to quite a few pieces in the 30 carat size. Hopefully I have better success than I had with this one. Yeah. Total success as far as the beauty of the stone, but yield was questionable. So, but great stone. I think, I don't know what the rating, or 978 rating on this. I think I was being a little harsh. I wonder if that's, not sure why I would get that rating. Looks like a 990 to me, but I'll have to look into that because the cut's right and the color's right. Yeah. Although 978 is a big number. You know, you don't, it's rare that I get stones with that high rating. And that rating is a system that I use. Nobody else uses it. Just breaks down color, cut, and clarity. And I grade each of those on a 1 to 1,000 rating system, add them up, divide by 3, and that's the number that you get here. So works for me better than AAA, Quad A, 5A, whatever A's they use.
100A.
Yeah. A something. It's a bad system. So, up next. This one came out cool. This is, I'll show you the original material of this. If Michael ever gives me the camera, that's okay.
Show him the stone. Here you go.
Okay, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'll get to that. Okay. So this is what this material starts out as. So you can see these come from Tanga in Tanzania, which Tanga has just had a new find of some garnets, some really pinky garnets. So it's close to where this zircon is mined. And these zircons, of course, the way we get to the color of this gem is by heating it. And this is another one that I've heated probably 3 times to ultimately get to this color. And I'm thrilled with the color it is now. It's they call it imperial zircon because it looks remarkably like what imperial topaz looks like. Just very brilliant material and just that lovely peach color. So this gem appraises for $6,750. Our price online $3,550, and weighs 19.72 carats. With the 15 off, it's $3,018 or $153 a carat. Imperial zircon. All right, next gem.
I believe this one.
This one sold, yeah.
And he would like you to still show it and talk about it a little bit.
Okay. So this is material that
Brand new.
yeah, we bought this in Hong Kong. This is from a rough supplier we use all the time. It was somebody one of the few people we knew in Hong Kong. And I bought some really nice rough from him. And these zircons, kind of a unique color. These are coming out of spinels, yeah. Some are still on the last stone. But I do, yeah. But anyway, spinels. So these are coming from Mahenge. The pinks that come from Mahenge that just went out of sight price-wise, just crazy, but they just started producing this material. This is the first I've seen of it. They do have cobalt. Didn't they have cobalt spinel from Mahenge too, I think?
I don't know.
I think they did. But cobalt spinel, the prices are like $20,000 a carat. Just is really crazy money. Kind of like the pinks. The pinks have hit $4,000 or $5,000 a carat. All that from Mahenge. And so these are brand new.
Can you see if these fluoresce or not?
No. Well, that one doesn't work. I don't think so. I don't see it. Non-fluorescent. Not that that makes a difference, but Michael's always interested in fluorescence. As Chris is, if he happens to be watching. I don't know if he's been watching lately. So it weighs 1.98 carats. I cut it into a Barian-style emerald cut. This, what's been popular lately is the gray spinels. These are much bluer than the gray spinel. So they're kind of unique, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with the market for these and whether it continues to be available. So many things like this, they find it and that's it. I hadn't seen it before. Haven't heard of any of the other rough dealers I talk to regular as having seen it or owned it. So kind of I don't know what's going to happen to it, but could be worth much more because spinels in general are very, very high price these days. Reds can be $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a carat, and the pinks the same. The cobalts can be $60,000 a carat. We've seen material for. So Mahenge, not sure what to call that color. Mahenge spinel. All right, next stone. This is another Bahia, Brazil amethyst. Just came out beautiful. This was done by Linda Thierry. She did a great job. Beautiful cutting job on it. Kind of a mixed, so what we've been doing a little bit lately is a Portuguese pavilion and a step cut top, just because it just produces a unique type of brilliance. And, Linda's very accomplished at Portuguese cuts. And I think the step cut she finds easier to do on the crown. And it works remarkably well for brilliance.
Push that piece of rock out.
There you go. So another really fine color Bahia Brazil stone. You can see those secondary blues in it. It just has that soft purple color with the blue highlight. And I look at these and they seem remarkably like tanzanites, but reversed. Their tanzanites are kind of a mix of the blue and purple, and these are a mix of the blue and purple, just much more purple and just the highlight of blue. Great stone. Weighs 17.28 carats. Wait a minute. Nice size for pendant and could be ring. This cut's a little deeper, so it will sit a little higher. Price on this, $2,250. Our price online is $1,020. And the with 15% off using the coupon code STONES, it's $867 or $50 a carat. Again, just the finest of amethyst. The beautiful, beautiful color. Next stone. That one didn't sell.
Nope.
It's
So really cool color.
Yeah, it's
I didn't realize this was a tanzanite.
It's the mintiest green
Yes.
that I've cut from this rough.
And it's that famous Portuguese cut, which are the
Kind of.
round
I don't know what I
Portuguese.
did with this one. I think it's a step cut pavilion and a Portuguese crown.
Oh, whatever it is, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just that color itself is just wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. This is kind of the opposite of what the last amethyst was. So we like this combination. It just produces a stone with as much brilliance as you can get out of any gem. Just a cool color. This is probably the finest green I've got out of that fancy tanzanite parcel that I bought. Just a nice minty blue-green. Weighs 1.10 carats. Not huge, but really has a lot of impact. Our price online is $980. And with the 15% off, it is $833, $757 a carat.
And as Steve mentioned earlier about at the beginning of the show about the other green tanzanite, this was just a one-time shot. I think this was maybe a year ago. They discovered this pocket, and we bought all that we could from it. And there just really hasn't been any production since. And even before that, I don't know how long before that were greens coming out.
It was 40 years.
Right. So this is just an anomaly, not something that happens often, and we have it now. But next year, all the pieces sell. Who knows when the next time they'll find it?
40 years.
40 years.
Yeah, it was that long because it was, and I'd never seen it, and people were only talking about it when I was doing the show in Tucson. And last time I did the show in Tucson was about 2001, but this was before that. This was back in it was probably in the 70s or 80s. Maybe it was in the 80s that they found the greens. If anybody knows, it'd be interesting that, I don't know if anybody's older than me that would know. But I'd always heard about the greens that came out.
What part of the mining area were these from? It was from that hill.
From
When Cindy was talking, it was a lady's name. Right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
starts with K.
Cora or Cara?
Caro.
Caro. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where they were.
So these
finding
come from Caro. Our friend Suni, who's in Block D, if you look almost towards Kilimanjaro, just to the right, there's a hill, and you can see they're mining up on that hill, and that's Caro, which has produced a lot of great stones. Up next.
Hidden gem.
All right.
Hidden gems are back. All right.
Tell everybody it's been a while. Maybe there's some newcomers that don't
There
know.
probably is. There's probably some newbies here. So the hidden gems. So because a lot of people go ahead and purchase before we even talk about stones, we do have a lot of hidden gems available here. These hidden gems, if you go to MoreGems.com and the big list of stones that we're selling, I'm going to put this live in a sec, and all you have to do is refresh the page. Then this hidden gem will show up, and you can use coupon code RARE25 to get 25% off the listed price. And you can purchase with PayPal, you can do credit card. We also have a firm financing. So all you got to do, go to MoreGems.com, go to that category with all the Gemshows stones, and hit refresh, and it'll show up.
So this is a 4.62 carat and just a beautiful, beautiful gem, high rated stone. I rate this a 960 out of 1,000, which is, probably the top 5% of tanzanites. You can see the red flash trying to come out of it. 40% blue, 60% violet. So just a great stone, nice square cushion. That square gives you that brilliance that you're seeing. Praise price of $5,100, $2,990 is our price online. And with the 25% off, it is $2,243 or $486 a carat.
Show that size. Way ahead of me.
Occasionally. Great tanzanite, great price on it. And back to the blue zircons. Yes.
Remind everybody, Steve, that we are doing
We're
a giveaway that we will be choosing the winner this Friday. But let them know how and what we're giving away.
Well, we're giving away a 2.26 carat pair of blue zircons, top gem color, beautifully cut, a extraordinarily beautiful match. So pendants, rings, earrings, just a lot you can do with this pair of stones. So, Jeffrey, you want to tell them how to enter?
Yep. If you are watching the show and you're logged in, we have that nice little chat going. And I just posted the link to the giveaway there. But if you're not part of the chat, you just go to MoreGems.com, and up in the navigation, there is a link that says giveaway. You just click on that link. It'll take you to a page, enter your email address, hit submit, and you're entered. We have about 150 entries right now, so the odds are still pretty good, better than any kind of lottery or bourbon raffle I've tried to win lately. But yeah, that's all you got to do, and we will email you the winner on Friday. So make sure, check that email address, make sure it's correct. Thank you.
All right. Next stone, beautiful yellow sapphire. Just the perfect saturation. I mean, a lot of the yellows you see are just kind of pale. This is just intense color. Beautiful emerald cut, high clarity. And just something that make a nice men's ring, ladies' ring, of course. I'm thinking maybe white gold. I'm not sure how this color would look in yellow gold. Could be. Have you seen it, Mike?
I mean, I've seen yellow gold heads with yellow. I mean, it would probably look good. Yellow gold looks good.
Yeah.
With, a lot of things. I like yellow.
No. It's a nice size stone. I mean, it make a decent men's ring. I don't know why I think men's ring with it, but
Thanks for joining in. Easy to bleed. Have a good night. He said it's 3 a.m. there. He's been with us and been a trooper. So I appreciate you coming by.
he's going to give up. May as well stay up the night. So anyway, this comes from Sri Lanka. Weighs 2.10 carats. Appraised value on it is $3,810. Our online price is $25.35, and with the 15 off, it's $21.55 or $1,026 a carat. Just really lovely yellow sapphire. And next stone. Another sapphire. Kind of a unique color. This one weighs 2.66 carat, like an Asher cut. Which is a step square cut. Really well cut, comes from Madagascar. And really a lovely green. Little highlight of blue. Clean stone, no treatments involved, natural color. Appraised value of $5,320, $39.90 is our price online. And 266. With the 15% off using the coupon code STONES, we're at $3,392 or $1,275 a carat.
That's crazy. So, no treatment.
No treatment. Why is that crazy?
I don't know. Just nice color.
Just hard to find sapphires that aren't treated. You know, a very, very high percentage of sapphires are heated. And no treatment's a bonus, with many sapphires being significantly higher value for no treatment. Whether that's true of the greens, I'm not sure, but blues, it's probably 30-40% at least difference when they're not treated.
So is this stone zoned, or is that some dichroism I see?
Well, you know what the camera does. Camera with stones that have two colors in them tends to split the colors on you, and I think that's what we're seeing. You know, I don't think. All sapphires are zoned. I mean, there's no question about that. And these definitely are zoned, but not to the significance that you just saw with the camera. You know, it's just something that stones with mixed colors, it just tends to want to separate them out. There's really pretty color, pretty cut, and nice big sapphire. You know, once you go over 2 carats in sapphires, the price per carat jumps significantly. So that comes from Madagascar, and it's a place that hopefully we'll get a chance to get back to. Yeah, I've been to Madagascar many times, and one of my favorite places on the planet for sure. Although I've had mixed success there. You know, some trips remarkably successful, others just a hard time spending your money. But they do have everything. You know, it's there's few stones that are not produced there. Tanzanite would be probably the most notable that they produce no tanzanite, but almost everything else comes from there. Next stone there, Mike. I don't know if this one.
That's to me.
Oh.
We're switching it up. Here a little bit.
All right, I can take a break.
What's going on there?
Gotta
I
be
didn't
off
know about
camera so I
this.
can take a little nap. Or,
Mike gets all. Where's my smoke?
really, he gets
I
smoke.
think
And
there's
he
a
gets
little bit of
pictures
smoke that
behind
comes
him.
around you there.
Yeah, we get all
Yeah,
the
we know who's in
leftovers.
charge of this production,
Yeah,
huh?
Exactly, and fancy effects.
Man, that picture back there. Wow.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
All right, I'll get out of your way.
All right, let's see. Can I get myself back in focus? So I wanted to break it up a little bit here. So from Steve showing a lot of these cut stones, some of you may know we also have a natural crystal and mineral website, which is mineralmike.com. So we not only sell cut stones, but we sell the natural specimens for anyone who's interested in display, or just has an interest in the natural crystal and mineral structures.
So get them before I cut them.
Yeah, well, these ones, there's one that I'm going to show that, could possibly have some rough in it, but these other two I don't think you're going to be wanting to cut. The first being some calcite crystals.
Yeah, I don't want to cut that.
No, I didn't think so.
They cut beautifully, but
Yeah, just
Yeah,
too
it's a
soft
challenge.
and the cleave but this one is just a really cool aesthetic piece with 2 big, nice calcite crystals on there. I don't know if I can get that focused, but you can see it's sitting on the host rock, just a nice sparkly host rock, and the 2 larger natural calcite crystals, which have really good crystal structure to them. I really like this piece. I think it's just super cool how you can see that they're just attached to the rock. And this one is also fluorescent. So the 2 larger calcite crystals will fluoresce. This is, let's see if I can, it's hard to see in this light, but it fluoresces a really nice pink color under the long wave UV. You can kind of see it there. But it's just a really, really nice piece. And there's that next to the smaller one, there's a really tiny crystal there too. So, but cool piece. This one, it weighs about 664 grams, and it is from China. I do like a lot of the Chinese mineral specimens. They have a really wide variety of minerals coming from there, and they're reasonably priced for what they are, in my opinion. And I don't know, when I first started seeing them, as I started collecting these, maybe I think it was
2017 or 2018 I started, and that's kind of what I fell in love with. And so that's kind of what I not necessarily geared towards, but I am attracted to these. But anyways, this one is $529, and it's listed on MoreGems.com, and you can get it for 15% off. It's also on MineralMike.com, as well as many other calcite specimens, but this one right now is 15% off. But really cool piece. And then the next one, Steve, that you don't want to cut is fluorite. Fluorite and quartz. This one, super aesthetic piece. The two quartz crystals, it just looks, I don't know, it almost looks like the picture behind there, right? Holds it right in there.
Oh, yeah.
But it's also matched with these really big fluorite crystals.
No, I like fluorite. I did cut one. That was a beautiful stone.
The Roger Lee.
Yeah, I
that
tried to
was
cut
nice.
it again and haven't had success. I looked at it again, just
No,
difficult polishing, but the color just came out remarkable. Looked like the finest emerald.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we
it's
gotta try
sold
and
on one of
recut
these
those.
shows.
Yeah, because I've got
Yeah.
some little specimens of those as well. But yeah, this one I don't think it's clean enough and not quite that color. The background's kind of showing through, but these fluorite cube crystals are they're like multicolored, so you can, when you backlight them, you get some purples. There's blues in there, kind of grayish looking, but displays really well. So that's a fluorite and quartz specimen from China as well, and it weighs about 1,394 grams. And this is something that we just picked up last year, so it's a fairly new piece. I don't think I've shown it on this show, but big size, good for cabinet display. If you could underlight it, it would look really cool. And it goes for $2,419,
Which is
and
2056.
2,056 after the 15% off with the coupon code STONES. Then the final piece I've got to show you guys on this is actually something really special. I just listed it. I've had it for a little while, but it is a monster. It's probably the largest specimen that I have available right now. It's 35 pounds, so I'm going to have to go walk over and get it. So this is a monster. Jeez. This thing is coming out of Bolivia. So the ametrines that you saw earlier, that's what these are coming from. Big crystals. Some of these may have some gem material in it.
And you just ship that to people in an envelope?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there'll be some heavy shipping with this one. But it looks great all around. You know, if you're looking for something that is a conversation piece, this is definitely it. And I can't really do it right now, but if you backlight some of these crystals, you'll see the citrine and the amethyst, the zoning in there. Kind of hard to see, but there you go. Should have had Jeffrey hold this one up. But super cool piece. Jeffrey could probably curl it easily with one arm.
I did miss my workout today to drive out here, so that would have been a good workout. But yeah, so Michael, with these, you know, I've seen you kind of over the past few years. You have a very good eye when we go to gem shows, or wherever we go. You have a good eye for finding the best pieces. So how did you branch off into, like, I can't even remember. You have so many pieces now. If anybody's in or near Northwest Indiana, you should stop by the store on a Tuesday or Saturday and take a look at some of these pieces in person because they are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we've got now 3 showcases. They used to be utility closets that we converted. Actually, Linda's husband, he came and he converted them into mineral cabinets for us. We used shower doors, and they turned out great. They're just amazing. And so we did that. So we got 2 of those, and then a center one, and they're all filled with minerals now. And I've got, if you're into thumbnail size specimens, I've got a ton of tourmalines, aquamarines, tanzanites galore. So a lot of cool things. And some bigger stuff like this, which this one is, like it says, it's from the Anahi mine in Bolivia, which is the same source as the cut stones that you've been seeing tonight. And this one is available for $4,499.
Or $38.24.
$38.24 is the price with 15% off. And you know what? I didn't make this one live on More Gems just because I cannot ship this internationally. I think it would just be too much. If you're interested, I could take a look into it. But otherwise, it's available on MoreGems.com. But I did not activate the coupon code for it, so I'll have to do that after the show. But I'll list this for 15% off there. And that's about all I've got. I'm going to try and catch my breath after that, and we'll continue to the next stone.
Smoke. I want some
Oh,
smoke
I lost
to come
that
in.
one.
Lost it.
Thanks for displaying all those, Mike. And it's especially good as a gift if there's men or women, that are watching. If you're not into, like the jewelry, like I have that men's ring. That's probably the only piece of jewelry I own, but I love it. But I do have a lot of like crystals and minerals as well, and it's just cool to have around. Like you said, Mike, it's a good conversation piece. It's like some of that highlight opal that changes color. What's the ametrine? Not ametrine. This is ametrine. The amylite.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool stuff too.
Yeah, I got a lot of those.
Really good for if you want something that's not something for jewelry. These crystals and minerals are really cool. So you can see them all at mineralmike.com. Stress, take a look at it. And there's some really cool stuff out there.
All right, next up, this is one of the other stones Michael cut. Another of the ametrines that come out of Bolivia, just like the one he just showed. This one weighs 33.65 carats and just got a really nice split in this one. The color split with the yellow down the middle and the purple on the ends just makes for a really unique look. A particular stone appraises for $2,355. Online price is $1,390. And with the 15% off, it's $1,182 or $35 a carat. Just really great stuff for the money. It's just such a cool look.
And would this be just for a pendant due to the size, or would that be a pretty big ring?
Probably. Yeah, it'd be a pretty big ring.
We've done them that
It
big.
could be.
I'm sure we have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did a 200 carat ring once.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It
really?
was a bit big, but she loved it.
Yeah.
Some people like big. Yeah, I used to be into really big, but I'm thinking maybe smaller rings for me. Things in the 6, 7, 8 carat size rather than the 20, 30 carat size. And you can see those color zones. Just really makes a pretty unique piece.
This one I fired out pretty quick.
Yeah,
Sat
yeah,
down
you
and
did.
got it done.
Yeah. There's hope for you. Nice job. Yeah. Yeah. This material that we bought is just special. You're going to be seeing a lot of great stones from this stuff. You know, and you don't see much out there cut like this. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see the what the fantasy machine can do for it, assuming I can figure out how to use it. Nice job there, Michael.
Thank you.
All right, next stone up.
I believe this one's sold.
Yeah, we sold this one. Which this is, if I can find it. Oh, I put it in
One of
tweezers.
your favorite colors, right?
Yep, you bet.
Color.
You know, this is just exceedingly rare. You know, these peach colors, and you get into the pinks. Yeah, I was curious whether, if you heated this, whether it would turn pink, because pink brings even more money. But I don't know why you would want to change the color of this. Just really a beautiful gem as it is. Weighs 2.80 carats. Natural untreated stone. And this I cut into a Barian style emerald cut. And you can see this direction, which was, I saw it when I was cutting it. In certain direction, it was just totally pink. You know, I was somewhat hoping it would come out that pink, because pink would have probably doubled the price of this gem. But beautiful gem. And next up is Spinel.
This one's still available?
This one's sold as well.
Oh, well. You know, this is a color range in Spinels that, you know, is just sold remarkably well. This is a little more violet than what I probably consider as a gray Spinel, but just a unique and beautiful color.
And just to pop in, Scott, yes, to polish quartz, we did use cerium oxide.
You know, this was really is extremely well-priced stone. We bought this in Hong Kong, and these people were the greatest bargains of anybody we bought from. Because I know this is worth more money, but they were just remarkably well-priced. Just didn't have a whole lot for us, but I don't know, we bought maybe 6-8 stones.
Yeah, we bought everything we could,
Yeah.
or everything we thought was worthwhile.
Mm-hmm. Nice stone. All right, next up, kind of a unique color in tanzanite. This is natural color, no treatments. It is mostly blue. I rated it 90% blue. And kind of definitely a unique color for tanzanite. You know, not your typical blue color. Not sure what color actually it is. You know, it's just something different than I've ever seen in tanzanite. Yeah. I don't know why you would. You keep asking that. As soon as I cut it, you go, "You going to heat that?" I don't know what it would do. It could get better. I don't know what better would be.
Yeah, why would you though? I mean, it is a really nice color, and
Oh yeah.
and one day maybe natural color tanzanite will be more valuable.
Yeah. And it's somewhat to do with, as we talked earlier, identifiability of natural. Can I send this to a lab and they will say, yes, it's natural? Supposedly, one of the labs say they can, and there are some things I can look at with a microscope, and I have a pretty good idea whether it's natural or not. But, I don't think it's definitive. I mean, if you could see yellow still in it, that would be definitive because that's what you're heating out. But I don't think there's much yellow in this one. It's probably a green secondary. But totally unique color, not something I've ever seen in any treated tanzanite being a stone this color.
Is it, I think it's Martha asked this question. Is it bicolored? I don't know if you said something.
Not really. I mean, the faceting may give you that appearance a little bit. But again, the camera tends to take any two colors and it wants to separate them. We have some issues with stones that some of the stones that are bicolorish, the camera can just make them over dramatize that color separation. So sometimes that's what you see in these when there are two colors present. It can split them, but it really doesn't appear as bicolor.
The Gem Nomad had two questions. What was the size of the rough, and is that a mixed cut or a step cut?
It is a Barian style mixed. It's a step cut crown and a Barian style pavilion. It started out as a little over 10 carat. So it's like I think it was about a 35% yield or a little less than that. Which is typical, although that's on the low side for me. I probably average about 40%, which people, we constantly on Reddit get people going, I cut that morganite and it was 750 carats. I only got 300 carats. And that's the most common comment. What did you waste all that for? It's just the nature. You're just going to yield on average 35, 40%. And, the rest of it's just going to be waste, or sacrificed material for a beautiful gem.
What's the size of that one?
Sure. Did I give the price on that? So this one weighs 3.29 carats, 32.90 is appraised value, 1,810 is our price online. With the 15 off, it's $1,539 or $468 a carat. All right, next one up. Let's see, where are we at here? So this is a green beryl. Not quite an aquamarine. I don't know if I'm thinking that if you heated this, it would become aquamarine. It's just going to get lighter and not prettier, so you wouldn't do it. And this color is unique. We don't get it very often. I don't know. When's the last time we had?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
We got to do this trip.
Yes. You can see that nice addition of the green color. I'm not sure. I don't know which. It's debatable whether to call it aqua, because aquamarine is really blue-green. and we often heat it just to turn it blue. More often just because the green typically does not present as a beautiful color when mixed with the blue. So they heat it and it becomes just a straight blue stone and a prettier stone. Whereas this particular color is a very attractive color with the green in it, and you just wouldn't heat it. You wouldn't get a better looking stone out of it. So this weighs 1.28 carats, appraised value $385. $315 is our online price. And with the 15% off, it's $268 or $209 a carat. So natural, untreated.
This is, I don't know if you mentioned it, this can be used in a ring or pendant, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's a good hard stone. Yeah, good durability for aquamarine. Or green beryl, whatever we're going to call this one. I don't know. What do you think, Mike? Is it a aqua or is...
I don't know. I mean, it's a greenish aqua. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, green beryl, I think, would have to be greener, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. So we're going to call it an aqua. We're going to call it an aqua as aqua should be. Aquamarine is, the color you think of aquamarine, and it is not blue, although most aquas these days are blue because they're heat treated. The naturals will have that secondary green color, and, like I said, the reason they treat them is because the green does not mix well, does not produce a beautiful color. So they heat it and drive off the yellow color, just like in tanzanite. You're driving off a yellow that leaves a stone as blue. All right, next one. All right, another hidden gem.
Hidden gem, all right.
And this is really a beautiful color. It's a little different. Sold to me as umbellite, mainly because it's a lighter color. It's a lighter form of rhodolite, which is typically what we look at as being umbellite. Umbellite originally came from the Umba Valley in Tanzania, and where they produced the lighter color rhodolite, and they wanted to give it a different name so we could charge more for it. And rightfully so, because it is more beautiful. Many of the rhodolites are just a little on the dark side and don't show the life and brilliance and beauty that a color like this does. So this one weighs 7.78 carats, which is a nice size rhodolite. In kind of a unique shape. Not oval, not sure what to call it. What did I? Yeah, I don't have a name for it. Pretty stone. It comes from Tanzania. High clarity, VS1 clarity. Appraised price of $3,500. Our price online is $1,680. And with the 25% off, it's $1,268 or $163 a carat, which is really inexpensive for a stone like this. So hidden gems, if you're not finding it, you'll have to refresh.
Correct. It is there now. So if you've been looking at the stones on MoreGems.com, big list. All you got to do is hit refresh, and it should be on the first row of stones now. And again, make sure to use Rare 25. You'll get 25% off in the cart.
All right, next stone.
Let's go back to the giveaway. If anybody else new here would like to enter to win. So
for those of you who are new, or if you've been hanging around and for some reason you haven't signed up yet, all you need to do is enter your email to have a chance at winning these 2.26 carat total weight blue zircon pair. These are from Cambodia. Really, the brilliance is spectacular. The color is great. It is the December birthstone. And you can enter to win these. And to do so, you can either scan the QR code over there. There you go. Yeah, you got it. Or you can go to MoreGems.com, look in the navigation, and you'll find the giveaway link, and then just type in your email, send away. And on Friday, we will draw the winner, and we will let them know via email. But if you are not from the USA, unfortunately, you can't enter this time. We will look into doing giveaways in the future for you guys, but right now this is USA only.
Yeah, and we're still kind of lingering around 120, 130 entries, so definitely your chances are good. So enter away. Shortcut MoreGems.com/contest. And if you're enjoying the show, please hit that little thumb button below. Michael scolds us if we don't get 100 likes. So please get us to that point. And if you're enjoying the show, make sure to subscribe, because we post a lot of other, if you ever want to see the new stones or new jewelry we're doing, we post it. He does educational videos as well. So make sure to subscribe to that channel. Thank you.
Looks like we've got somebody from Madagascar watching.
Really?
Hello, good morning. They're asleepy. Thanks for joining in. How are you?
Let's see. Madagascar is, it's early morning, I think. 4 in the morning, maybe? 8 hours, I think. 8 or 9 hours difference.
It's 6:30.
It's 6:30. Hey, we should be bright and awake. Where in Madagascar? I've been there probably 7, 8 times. So, love Madagascar, my favorite country. So our next stone is from Madagascar. This is a pink sapphire. It's actually pink, a teeny bit of orange to it, and probably not enough to get it a Padparasha rating, but it weighs 2.02 carats. Nicely cut stone, high clarity. And treatment is unknown. I mean, good chance it's heat treated. I may send this one off to be tested if I have it for a while. Just, because the value is, I'm not sure if I know if this is, But anyway, this particular stone, price value $8,080, which might indicate not treated. I'll have to look into that a little more. $39.90 is the price online, and with the 15% off, it is $33.92 or $1,680 a carat. Just a really lovely gem. And worth sending to GIA, just because if they happen to say it was Padparasha, it'd be worth more money. I don't believe that they would, but there is just a little bit of peach to it, that orange that's necessary to be a Padparasha. But, to me it's too pink, but hey, you never know with the labs. But just a lovely stone, nice full size to its 2 carat size. It's not cut with excessive depth as many sapphires are, so you get a good full size look to it. It's almost 9 by 7, which can often be a 3 carat stone. So you're not paying for the extra weight, which is a benefit. So lovely stone. Madagascar produces such a wide variety of colors. They produced many, many pinks, and I still have more pinks to cut, which I'll get back to cutting some of the pinks I bought back in the early 2000s in Madagascar.
And the viewer from Madagascar, I think they've been on before. They're from Diego Suarez.
Oh, yeah.
And the Enbondramafi mine. And
yes, I've been there. I think we talked about this before.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I thought I was going to die.
Oh, no.
Well, I did. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a scary situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scariest situation of my entire time traveling. Yeah, I'm sure I've talked about it before, but it all turned out well. So, and it was a unique trip for sure, and they do produce some beautiful sapphires, and I know they're still producing to this day. Andron Bonifay, yeah,
So you
something
think
like
we'll
that.
be planning a trip there at some point?
Yeah, I got to think it's it's my favorite place. So I got to think we'll get back there.
Yeah. I'd like to, I've seen all the pictures, and we've met some people from Madagascar, and it would be, definitely on my bucket list to get out there.
All right, next up. Trillion tourmaline. This one comes from Congo. Again, as I've mentioned, Congo is not very productive these days. I don't really know if there's any production there right now. Sure not seeing much new from there. I think all the material circulating is from previous, they've had a lot of issues there. They've had disease issues. And, I think even in the, I'm not sure if the monkey virus was there, I believe. So a lot of problems in Congo as far as, a little bit of warring going on there, and, just not a place we'll be planning on our trip lists. So, but they do produce some beautiful tourmalines, and this is one of them, kind of a pink with a little bit of orange to it, which puts it in that Podparasha range, I guess. Yeah, Podparasha tourmaline. So it weighs 2.33 carats. I think I cut this probably all step cut trillion. Really clean stone, no treatments. Again, most of the material out of Congo is not heated. This comes out these natural, beautiful colors. This particular stone appraises at $1,070. Our online price of $590, and with the 15% off, it's $502 or $215 a carat. Just really, really pretty stone.
Good size.
Yeah, it's a little over 8mm trillion. Again, no extra weight to it. Cut about as shallow as you can cut it and still be fully brilliant. So, make a nice ring.
Step cut trillions work pretty well for
They
brilliance.
do. Step cuts, as you've noticed, I cut a few step cuts. It is my cut of choice. You get best yield, and they're always brilliant.
But I mean, especially in these trillions.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Amethyst that I had cut to this piece,
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
see that. I mean, there's just a lot of scintillation all over it.
Tourmaline from the Congo. We have a sale.
We do. So, sorry to interrupt you.
Dang it, Jeffrey.
You can finish the stone. I'll just hang out down here. No, okay. So Lori, we want to thank Lori. She picked up the pair of antique cushion cut garnets.
Okay.
We haven't talked about
you,
those on the
Lori.
show,
Nope.
but those were below, so she skipped ahead, or we may not be talking
Yeah,
about them at
it's
all.
really a nice pair. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're interested in seeing what you're going to do with them. Is it match pair earrings? Is it a pendant and a ring? We'll be able to do anything you like. She did get a box chain with it, so maybe under the assumption that one is going to be for a pendant. I'm not sure.
So it's that's material that was readily available. I probably bought those 2 years ago. I bought quite a few pairs, and since then that particular source, which I think it's probably Mahenge. I don't know what was listed with that, but they just have not been available really in the last year. There's just been no material available. So just another situation where supply's there, and then as quickly as it came, it's gone. So.
And then Phil picked up the Berrien style emerald cut tanzanite, 3.29 carats. I think that was that hidden
Is
gem?
that the peach one?
No, it's a blue one.
Oh, the
That's the
unheated?
blue one. Oh.
Yeah, very cool. Is that the unheated?
3.29?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nice. Thanks,
Yeah.
Phil.
Is that the hidden gem or no? No, that was
Yeah.
It was. Okay.
Well, you're lucky you bought it, Phil, because the first thing I would have done after the show is probably change the price. Because it really, for an unheated, great color like that, that's pretty cheap. Yeah, but I'm glad you got it. So.
And then one question. Oh, Lori said those are going to be for earrings. Okay, cool. Cool, Lori. Let us know how we can help there. Josephina from Madagascar. What do you think about the antique cut? Step cut on pavilion. It's not losing weight material, but in fact, the style looks to be trending today.
I'm going to need a repeat.
So what do you think about the antique cut? What do you think about the step cut on the pavilion? It's not losing weight material? Maybe is it losing a lot of weight material when you do those types of cuts?
No, it's the best yield, almost always, is what I've found. An antique cushion with a step cut pavilion. I don't know if I have one in the show currently. The closest would be the bicolor, the first one up. But it's something I do regularly, and it just works well. It's just good brilliance and best yield. Just something that cut I can improve yield over other cuts, particularly like brilliance, because you can adjust the angle to fit the piece of rough. When you do a step cut, you're not stuck to particular angles that you cut at, like a brilliant where you really need to stay close to ideal angles to get full life out of them, and it doesn't always produce the best yield. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, I'm ready to move on to our blue light specials. We have 3 of them. I really thought they would go immediately just because they're just made right, and they're in platinum, and people like platinum. They just don't like to pay the money that you have to pay for platinum, but these I bought on a special deal from a company, and I just feel that the value is there. The quality is top notch throughout. The quality of the stones is just great quality stones. I mean, they all rate a good high rating for them. Which you look on the site, I don't have the listings here, but they're all in the 930s, 940s. Which for a stone this size is a very high rating, because it really takes size to get those high colors, to get those ratings that hit in close to the 950 is almost impossible in these size stones. So they're great pieces. They're 40% off what our normal retail would be. So they're just a really, really great value. And we find that these simple pieces have been very, very popular, particularly with younger people. And I say that, but, I got my two sons who their wives and fiancés, like simpler pieces. Did I didn't say that, did I?
No, we know what you mean.
Well, I mean, younger people as teenagers and, they like simple pieces and, but it goes throughout, as you get older, the traditional thing is you get more elaborate pieces, put more diamonds on them. And, but we find these days that people are looking for simpler pieces, both in pendants and rings. And, this kind of item is very, very popular. And just being in platinum, have a little diamond accent and, and having a very, very fine tanzanite in it. I think they hit a really good price range.
Yeah, no, Carrie's probably watching from home, and I can hear her right now. Ooh, I like that. She wears these. She has a ring like this with a Malaya garnet she wears on her pointer finger, and she likes that quite a bit. She wears that often. So this would be something like that you could do as well.
So that's our blue light special, and we have 3 of them, 2 rounds and an oval.
And speaking of ring, keep that stone right there, Michael.
Oh, you want that back up?
Nope. No. There we go.
Okay.
Keep that right there. Peggy wanted to know, for this trillion cut tourmaline, what color gold do you think would be best for it? White, yellow, rose?
Well, they both work. I mean, I like yellow, but this white works great. Rose, of course, rose has slowed down for us sale-wise, so I probably wouldn't do it in rose. But if you like rose, it's a perfect color for rose, no question about it. We do peach colors all the time in rose, and we've sold many, many of them. So you're really totally open with this color. Sorry, I can't be more definitive, but it is a color that works with all the colors of metal. You pick it and you'll be happy with it. Just satisfy yourself for sure. Some things definitely work best with certain colors, but I don't think this is one of them.
Yeah, I think I've seen them in all. I think my wife has a morganite that's kind of a little lighter than that color, but it's in a rose gold that looks great, which I wouldn't have thought looks good, but I think like you said, we've seen them in white and yellow, and it just looks pretty much amazing in every color.
So next stone up is another Barian style. I was into Barians this month. And I really came down with a design I'm happy with. I made some changes. I've cut Barians for 50 years. And
What do they call you?
Mr. Barian. That's one of my jewelers, because I was into Barians long before anybody else other than Basil Watermeyer, who developed the cut. Him and the original person I saw this from, his name is Jeff. He was a dealer that I used to buy from, and they were probably the first people I saw to use this style of cutting. And I picked it up, and the jewelers I dealt with, because I cut so many of them, they just started calling me Mr. Barian. So, but anyway. I've redeveloped this cut a little bit, done some tweaking on it, and I'm really happy with it. And I finally sat down and I have a specific design. It used to be I just cut whatever and just do the basic idea and make it fit the cut. But now I'm cutting specifically because the cut I've developed now is giving me what I consider maximum brilliance for this style. And when you get it into a more square shape than this, it definitely gives you a fuller brilliance to the whole stone. The longer you cut it, the less brilliance you get towards the outer edges of it. So this kind of shape will give you the maximum brilliance you can get. Let's see if I can find that stone. There it is. So this one weighs 2.27 carats. You know, I'm not sure. I think this was a cutoff from another piece of rough that I had. A bigger stone and a cutoff, because I don't have a lot of rough to cut this size. I know I have a new parcel, but this wasn't from it. And this really cut a beautiful color and just a really great size. 2.27 carats, high clarity, VS1 clarity, strongly to the violet, 75% violet, 25% blue. I've given it a rating of 960 out of 1,000, which for this size stone is about as high as I've ever had. And the reason being, the bigger the stone, the deeper the color. Although this is, for its size, is a very, very deep colored stone.
Does that do anything? Give you a better color?
I'm not sure if it changed much. Not a lot.
Better color in real life. It's about that color.
I don't know. Generally, you can trust the pictures that are online. We work very, very hard to get them as accurate as possible. You know, mostly what I photograph, I do very little adjustments to it in Photoshop. Almost never. You know, what comes out of the camera is what we use. We have adjustments on the camera to make the colors right, and we usually get them remarkably close. It is rare that we get a complaint that what was online is not as presented. Stone prices at $2,290. $1,290 is the price online. And what is this? $227. With the 15% off, it's $1,097 or $483 a carat. Nice tan today. All right. And this is round brilliant sapphire. I'm not sure I have a location on this one. I'm thinking this is,
No location on the product.
yeah. Somewhere in the world this sapphire comes from. But it's just really great, great brilliance. You know, it's I think a step cut pavilion and a brilliant style crown. Clean, clean stone. Kind of a unique color. Lime green. Hopefully I can figure out where I got this and where it came from. I was thinking maybe it was Montana, but it's an unusual color for Montana. But I'll see if I can figure that out. But really beautiful gem. Price $1,260. Not that it's something that I'm not sure how you rate this color. I know I use the appraisal guide and as a green, but this is such an unusual green that not exactly sure how to appraise it. But anyway, our price online is $1,090, and with the 15% off, it is $927 or $908 a carat.
You ever faceted a stone using a burying round diagram?
Yeah, I'm not sure that exists or not. What a Berrien round would be. No, I haven't, to my knowledge. Not sure what would make it a Berrien different from any other round. Don't have an answer for that, Mike.
Sorry, Gem Nomads. He's not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if there's, a Berrien round is too much like other rounds. Maybe there is such a thing, but I don't recall seeing it.
He had to ask the Varian master. That's Mr. Varian.
Yeah. So here's a.
Mom and Dana got a kick out of that.
Here's a rough sapphire that's real similar color to this. And this is actually a Montana stone. So it is possible it's a Montana stone, but what other roughs didn't I show? This is the Spinel from Mahenge. That's what the rough from there looks like. Looks like that'll cut a really nice stone. Tourmaline. What else? And this is what the material that cut that 7-carat garnet. That was a hidden gem. Umbellite or light rhodolite. All right, what's next gem up?
Well, before you go, while you're showing that rough, Trey Peters, he says, "Hey, Mr. Moriarty, I bought a nice sapphire from you last year. I have a question. Is there a simple lap that you could recommend for someone getting into cutting? Thanks a lot."
For polishing or?
I'm assuming to start faceting. I don't know. He didn't.
Well, the ones I use a bat lap to polish with diamond, or the quartz we use ultra laps, spectral laps.
And I'm thinking maybe machine. He might be asking because he's looking to get into cutting.
Well, the Ultratech V5 is the ultimate machine available today. I've had many machines over my lifespan in the business, and this currently is the only machine I can recommend because all the machines that I've owned in the past, the companies have gone out of business. And this is the issue. Once they go out of business, unless you're a machinist that can machine your own parts, you're kind of screwed. So this is a company, Ultratech has been in the business for over 50 years. They do not rely on faceting machines as their only way to make money. They're into scientific equipment. So this is a sideline for them, an important sideline, but they're going to be in business for a long time. They don't rely on the, $100, $200 or 200 machines a year to make their entire money, because it's hard to support companies that way. And that's what's happened to all these companies. There's just not enough business to maintain a complete business just manufacturing machines. So this company's been in business a long time. They'll be there when you need parts. So that's why I do recommend the Ultratech V5. They have a lesser expensive VL machine that is the same kind of quality equipment. They are relatively expensive for a lot of people because this machine now is maybe $5,500-ish. But if you want to get into the business, it is an inexpensive business to get into, because that's a very low investment to create a business that can actually make money. You learn how to cut on the Ultratech, and you'll be cutting fine gems, unlike others that try and buy used equipment or buy cheap equipment. This machine will come down to the point where you are who determines whether you're going to cut a great stone, not the machine. The machine will do its job if you do your job. So you spend the money up front and you get a quality piece of equipment, and you'll be happy. Your first stone you cut will be a good stone. The third stone you cut will be a great stone, just because the machine is capable of producing great. So that's my push on machines.
And hey, have you tried the analog version of the mast?
No, but I've done analog versions of all masts, and it's, although the digital readout is helpful, being without digital, it still is an accurate machine. It's every bit as accurate. It just doesn't give you a readout. It takes a little more input from you, but, with the equipment's made right, it gives you the angles, and, it's not an issue using a machine without the digital readout.
And yeah, without that digital angle display, that you've been using, like the Imperial Alpha Taurus, you used that for years, and that was
And my brother used the
was the Facetron.
Which none of those have a digital readout. They you have a meter, and the meters are quite accurate. So it's that's how I cut for years. Do I like the digital readouts? Yeah, I like them. I think it's a helpful tool, but not a necessary tool. Okay. If you have more questions, we answer a lot of it in our videos. I've gone through everything possible on the videos as far as answers to what equipment we use, which some of it has changed over the years. The laps I use has changed, and definitely have made some changes in some of the equipment I use. So some of the older videos will not be actually representative of what my current position is, but most of them are mostly accurate.
Yeah, because you've used the first video was the Imperial Alpha Taurus, and then the second video we had with the machine you got at home
Is the Gemmaster 2.
Yeah. That's a great machine too, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a fantastic machine, but they're not currently manufacturing. They're working on trying to remanufacture it, but it's been slow. They've had a lot of issues, and it's another really, really good machine, the kind of caliber of this machine. But currently, they're not quite up to production, and hopefully they'll get there. You know, it is a good machine. Also, I'm happy with both machines, but this is a company that's there to support you and will be there in the future. So that's a key thing. You know, I've got machines downstairs in my basement that are pretty much useless to me because I can't get the parts to make them work again. So. All right.
So,
I'm getting lost here. That one is 133. Huh. There it is. So another sapphire. This is one I cut from Madagascar. And this is material that I bought back in 2007. And I finally dug it out. And, you know, I just kind of adverse to cutting small gems. But with the value of sapphires, I decided, well, it's time to get back into that bag of old rough and sit down and cut some of these stones. You get a carat 33 and look at the value of what these sapphires are. You know, but a lot of this material from Madagascar just flat as a pancake and difficult to, you know, even, you know, this piece of rough was probably 6 carat, but you just couldn't cut a big stone out of it. You know, 6 carats should cut a 2.5 carat, and you know, I get a carat 33 just because how flat the rough is. You know, overseas they would cut a windowed stone to make use of that bigger piece of rough, but it's not something I'm going to do. You know, and again, that's something that the fantasy machine may help me with, because you can cut shallower material with a fantasy cut and still produce some brilliance out of something, a flat piece of rough. But anyway, this stone is a 1.33 carat Barian square. Comes from Ilakaka in Madagascar, which Ilakaka is still producing, but it's not the major producer of sapphire there currently. Nice high clarity, VS2 clarity. No treatment on this stone. So it gives that high appraised value because no treatment is worth a lot. You know, whether this would treat and become a better stone, probably not. You know, often you treat stones with some silk in it. I think in this material they said, what was the term? Smoky, not silky, was what somebody told me once, as far as what treats in Madagascar. But anyway.
Good night, Eileen. Thanks for tuning in again. We're going to keep those gems away from the oven. We'll hold them back.
Thanks, Eileen. All right, I think we're almost done here, but this stone praises at $4,495, online price of $2,580, and this stone is with 15 off. It's $2,193 or $1,650 a carat. Again, untreated, which definitely, I'll bet if I looked it up, it's 40% difference for an untreated stone, 40% higher.
So you said you bought this back in 2007. Was this when you were in Madagascar?
Yes.
So what was it like? What were you, when you were buying this rough? Were you at the mines? Were you in some
well, this comes from friend Jean Noel. He used to own Bank Swiss, which now is owned, I think, by Indian company. But he was the owner at the time, and you'll see some pictures of us out there in the mine. They were in a mine down maybe 90 feet, which was all dug by hand. And you can see some pictures on the internet sometimes where it's just a line of 100 guys, and they're all just taking a shovel full and moving it 2 feet, and the next guy moves that shovel full up further. And they dug this huge hole like that. It's amazing what they could do by hand, you know. So, so this came from his mind, and we bought a parcel, and me and my friend Jim split the parcel, and you know, it worked out well, and works out well better now, because back then the price of these sapphires was maybe 30% of what they are now. So.
All right, Jeffrey, we got any questions from the chat?
All right, chat. If you got any questions for
This is
Steve,
it, huh?
that was the last stone that we've got to show this evening. There's more
There's
that
a
we
lot
haven't
more.
gone through.
Yeah, if people are, you know, if you've been just watching the show, seeing the stones that we have that are 15% off, if you go to that link on MoreGems.com, there's a lot there. This is probably the most we've had in a long time. This is the most we have ever.
Busy month. Yeah, it's the most I've cut in a month.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
crazy. the amount of
I'm
stones
worn
we
out. I'm going to take the day off tomorrow.
have. Yeah, you
Yeah,
deserve it.
I've had it.
But what I tell everybody is, you know, we appreciate you guys staying up late with us. If there are stones that you like, you know, I'd at least add them to your cart, get them ready. I will email this to our entire list tomorrow about all the stones that are for sale. So this is your chance to grab anything you like at 15% off. And just remember, you know, we do have 30-day returns. I think they're extended now. Is that start? When does that start? Extend. I know for holidays we kind of extend return
Yeah,
policy.
typically after Thanksgiving, I
Yeah.
think.
Okay.
You know, but
30-day returns.
hey,
I
we're
mean, it's
pretty
plenty of
lenient
time.
on things. So
Yeah, you can see if you like it.
Yeah.
And all these stones, again, you know, we can do custom jewelry design for them. So if there's a design you like, definitely let us know. But we also, at checkout, you can do PayPal, credit card. We even have financing. Tomorrow, if there's a stone that you want to put on the layaway, we can even do that. Just requires 20% down. So if there are any questions, please post them now to that chat session for Steve. I do know I do have a few from earlier. There was one question. I think we've received this before, Steve, asking what your favorite gem is.
well, is it still? It's always been Malaya garnet. I mean, that peach color, which we talk about, you know, when I have a peach colored stone, it's my favorite color. And it all started with Malaya garnets. You know, I just love that color and love the brilliance that gem produces. And I don't know if there's anything else. It's still my favorite. You know, there's so many I do love, like these blue zircons. I mean, blue zircon's just an amazing color to me. You know, it's another gem that should be in my favorite list. It is one of my favorites, but not my favorite. You know, I just have something for that peach color. You know, when they ask you, you know, a questionnaire, they say, what's your favorite color to use as your password or whatever they do. You know, it's always peach is what I put in.
You're just telling everybody your password.
Yeah,
Here we
damn
go.
it.
Next-
I don't think
Next question is, what's your favorite password?
Can you tell us your maiden name?
or birthday or yeah. Okay, well, give away some secrets. You know, these are
Password,
personal
Mr.
between
Barry.
us.
There was okay. So we got Malaya garnet's the one. Okay, I was going to think you were going to say specimen. That's my new favorite stone. I like Grace Spinell, the color.
Well, I like garnets. You know, the
Yeah.
whole range of garnets is my favorites for sure. Yeah.
I like Pakistan peridot.
It is amazing. You know, one of my favorite stones always is a Portuguese round Pakistan peridot. You know, that's something that just does something to me that, you know, people often don't like the burst stone as a peridot, but when you look at Pakistani material that's cut right, it's just really a remarkable stone. So Michael just passed me a stone that he wanted me to relate to you. This is something he just cut. Didn't make it for the show because it's still wet and its color hasn't shown up yet. But he faceted this.
Show it. I don't know if you got a dark piece of paper.
Got the back of this in the middle. Yeah, I guess that would be the place to show it. So you can start to see the colors in it. You know, it's still really milky because it's wet, but it'll be a really, really pretty stone. He'd hoped it would be ready for the show, but
I'll put it on if anybody's interested. I'll add it once it dries out if we can get it onto this collection.
yeah, it should be a couple of days probably, because it's going to be a really, really nice stone on both sides. You know, he cut both sides similar. So whether there's a better side or not, or if they're two unique sides, you know, we talked about making it so you could flip it. But if there's one better side, you just use it. So looks like it's going to be pretty great color. Kind of looking like the other side, but won't know until it dries. So.
Yeah, we didn't have any opal on the show tonight, did we?
No opals this time.
Okay.
So.
All right.
And that one's, I don't know what so it's going to be about 8 carat. So. Nice though. So we got Michael cutting, and hopefully we'll see more from him for the next few shows, because eventually it'll be all Michael.
Oh, blue light special.
I've had enough blue light specials. Yeah, take advantage of this blue light special. You're going to find somebody that would love that for Christmas. Yeah, they're just really good value. I know it's more expensive because it's platinum, but you know, with the 40 off, I think it gets it into at least down to where the price of it in gold would be. And you know, there is something special to be said about platinum.
What size is that, Mike?
I think it was around what, 5 carat?
Yeah, 5
Phil
carat.
picked up one today. He was wondering about
Yeah,
two.
and that was 5 carat.
Yeah, Phil. It's a
Well,
really
it was
cool ring.
418, but it's this kind of size because, you know, it's cut as shallow as it can be cut and be fully brilliant. So, yeah,
Love that
yeah, great looking ring.
Yeah, definitely do it, Phil. It's a good looking ring. And I know we still got we got about 45 people still watching. If you haven't signed up for that giveaway, make sure to do that. You know, again, just go to MoreGems.com, click on that giveaway link in the navigation, enter your email address, and you'll be entered to win this pair of blue zircon ovals. We'll be choosing the winner on Friday, and make sure that email is correct, because that's the only way we'll be getting in touch with you. But yeah, good luck. I think that's all the questions that we have. Steve,
All right.
take it away.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to thank everybody for showing up today. Been a great show, and glad you could see what we've been producing, and hopefully we'll continue producing things, particularly that we cut, you know, because I think we do generally a better job than most of the world does. You know, no question about that. I mean, everybody's getting better at cutting. You know, worldwide, they're improving their cutting all the time, but there's still a lot of wasted stones out there that they just shouldn't have cut them the way they do, and they're just trying to get yield out of material, and you know, it's the wrong way to cut. And you know, so hopefully we'll continue to do a higher percentage of our own cutting. You know.
And before we head out, I just want to remind everybody, so next month it will be, I believe it's still the first Wednesday of December, we are going to be doing our virtual Christmas open house. So those of you who are still sticking around with us, maybe you'll be interested in that as well. That'll be mostly mounted goods, things we've created in our shop around our gemstones. A lot of these times we'll select some of our favorite stones to put into our jewelry. So the only way to get that type of stone is buying the piece of jewelry. So there are some really special stones in those as well. So it might be something that you want to join in on that. Other than that, yeah, this will be the last show for this year. Hopefully January we will have another More Gem show, and the Alice in Gemland series will kick off in January or early February.
All right. I want to again thank you for having us in your house for 3 hours. Well, we got through a lot of stones.
Or in Disneyland.
Yeah, or in Disneyland. Yeah. So you want to finish this out, Michael?
All right. So everybody, we want to thank you for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button to get alerts for when we go live. And that's going to do it for us, folks. Thanks for watching. Keep on gemming.
All right. Good night.
Night, everybody.